Today we are tackling the Holy Grail of Japanese history, the story that every child in Japan knows, the story that has been made into a movie at least 80 times. We are talking about the 47 Ronin, the Genroku Akko incident. If you don't know the basics, here it is. A noble lord is insulted by a corrupt official. The lord draws his sword, strikes the villain, and is forced to commit ritual suicide. His loyal retainers, now Ronin, spend 2 years pretending to be drunks, beggars, and everything in between to lower the villain's guard. Then on a snowy night, they reunite, storm the mansion, cut off the villain's head, and commit mass suicide to restore their honor. It's the ultimate story of Bushido: loyalty, sacrifice, and justice. But what if I told you that historically speaking, almost everything we think about this story is a bit twisted? What if the villain, Kira Yoshinaka, wasn't actually evil? What if the hero, Oshi Kuronosaka, wasn't pretending to be a drunk, but was actually just a drunk? And most importantly, what if I told you that by the standards of their own time, these guys weren't heroes, they were criminals who broke the samurai code? Today we are going to peel back the layers of the Chushinagura legend. We are going to look at the legal nightmare this caused for the shogun, the philosophical debate it sparked among the samurai, including the guy who wrote the Hagakure, and why this specific event became the defining myth of Japan. Buckle up, we're going to Edo. To understand the tragedy, we have to understand the setting. It is 1701, the Edo period. Japan is peaceful, boringly peaceful. The shogun, Takagawa Tsunayoshi, is a stickler for the rules. He's the guy known as the dog shogun because he passed laws protecting stray dogs. He is obsessed with order. Every year, the emperor in Kyoto sends envoys to Edo. It's a massive diplomatic ceremony. 2 provincial lords are chosen to host these envoys. One of them is Asano Naganori, the lord of Akko. Asano is a young, hot-tempered, and slightly inexperienced guy when it comes to court etiquette. So the shogunate assigns a teacher to help him. That teacher is Kira Yoshinaka. Kira is a high-ranking master of ceremonies. He's old, powerful, and knows every rule in the book. Now here is where the legend and history diverge. The legend says Kira was a greedy monster. He demanded a huge bribe from Asano. Asano, being a man of honor, refused and only gave a token gift: dried bonito fish. Kira got mad and started bullying him, calling him a country bumpkin. The history says, we don't actually know. There is no record of a bribe dispute. It's possible Asano wasn't good at his job, and Kira was a harsh teacher. But whatever the cause, on April 21st, 1701, Asano snaps. In the pine corridor of Edo Castle, the shogun's palace, Asano draws his short sword. He screams, "Do you remember the grudge from days past?" and slashes Kira. He misses the kill. He only cuts Kira's forehead and shoulder. This is a disaster. Drawing a weapon in the shogun's castle is a capital offense. It's treason. The shogun doesn't wait for a trial. By that evening, he orders Asano to commit seppuku. Asano dies. His lands are confiscated. His family is disgraced. And his 300 samurai retainers are fired. They are now Ronin. So the Akko samurai are jobless. They gather at the castle to decide what to do. Some want to fight the shogun's men and die defending the castle. Some want to commit suicide right there. But their leader, the chief chamberlain, Oshi Kuronosaka, calms them down. He convinces them to surrender the castle peacefully. He plays the good soldier, but secretly a core group of them want revenge. Now we have to talk about the law, because this is crucial. In Edo, Japan, there is a legal concept called katachi uchi, blood revenge. You are legally allowed to kill someone who murdered your father or master if you registered with the government. But there was a catch. Asano wasn't murdered by Kira. Asano attacked Kira, failed to kill him, and was executed by the law. Technically, Kira was the victim here, so the Ronin had no legal ground to stand on. If they attacked Kira, it wouldn't be Kataki Uchi, it would be murder and conspiracy. Furthermore, there is a famous critique from a contemporary samurai named Yamamoto Tsunotomo, the guy who wrote the Hagakure. Yamamoto hated the 47 Ronin's plan. He argued, why are they waiting? A true samurai would have attacked Kira the next day. Who cares if they win? Who cares if Kira has guards? By waiting 2 years, they risked Kira dying of old age, which would have meant their lord was never avenged. To the hardliners, The Ronin were being too calculating. They were attacking like merchants, planning a transaction rather than warriors seeking death. Despite the criticism, Oshi plays the long game. He knows Kira is paranoid. Kira has surrounded himself with guards and spies. So Oshi decides to act like a total loser. He moves to Kyoto. He starts spending all his money on geisha and booze. He is seen passed out in the streets. He earns a nickname, the Daytime Lantern. What does that mean? A lantern is useless during the day. It is just taking up space. They were calling him a waste of skin. There's a famous story where a Satsuma samurai sees Oshi drunk in the gutter, kicks him in the face, and spits on him, saying, "You aren't a samurai, you're a dog." Oshi takes it. He grins and bears it. He even divorces his wife and sends her away, supposedly to protect her, but it looks like he's just abandoning his family for a life of debauchery. Now, historical reality check. Some sources suggest Oshi actually just liked drinking. The Daytime Lantern nickname existed before the incident. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed when it came to finances. So was it a brilliant Hamlet-style act of madness? Or was he just a guy dealing with depression and unemployment the only way he knew how, while secretly holding on to the last one spark of duty? Either way, it worked. Kira's spies reported back, "Don't worry about the Akko guys. Their leader is a drunk. They're finished." Kira relaxed. He sent home some of his guards, and the trap was set. December 14th, 1702, or January 30th, 1703 by the Western calendar. It is a snowy night in Edo. The Ronin gather. There are 47 of them. Well, actually, there were originally more than 120 who signed the pledge, but over the 2 years of poverty, many dropped out. Only the hardcore remained. The youngest is Oshi's son Shikara, who is 16. The oldest is 77. They have a map of Kira's mansion. One of the Ronin actually married the daughter of the architect just to get the blueprints. Talk about commitment. They dress in homemade armor that looks like fire brigade uniforms to avoid suspicion. They split into two groups. Front gate, back gate. A drum sounds. The attack begins. They storm the mansion. It's not a duel, it's a commando raid. They use ladders and battering rams. Kira's guards are caught by surprise. They fight shoeless in the snow. The Ronin are efficient. They slaughter the guards, but they are careful not to harm the neighbors. They even sent messengers to the neighbors saying, "We are just here for Kira, don't worry." They search the house, but Kira is gone. His bed is warm, but the room is empty. Panic sets in. Did Kira escape? Then, one of the samurai finds a hidden courtyard used for storing coal and charcoal. He hears a rustle. He thrusts a spear into the darkness. A man yelps. They drag him out. It's an old man in white sleeping robes. He has a scar on his forehead. The scar left by Lord Asano 2 years ago. It's Kira. This is the moment of truth. Oshi treats Kira with extreme respect. He bows. He says, "We are the retainers of Asano. We have come to finish what our lord started." He offers Kira a dagger, the same dagger Asano used to commit suicide. He says, "My lord, please commit seppuku and die like a warrior." Kira refuses. He's trembling. He can't do it. The Ronin wait, but Kira won't move. Finally, Oshi realizes it's hopeless. He orders his men to hold Kira down, and he cuts his head off with the dagger. They have done it. But they don't run. They put the head in a bucket. They march across the city of Edo to the Sengaku-ji Temple, where their lord is buried. It's morning now. The city is waking up. The people of Edo see these 47 blood-soaked men marching with a head in a bucket, and instead of screaming, the people cheer. They bring them water. They bring them food. In a city controlled by a strict bureaucratic shogunate, these guys had done something wild. They had proven that loyalty still existed. They washed the head in a well at the temple, which is still there by the way, and place it on Asano's grave. Then they sit down and wait for the police. Now the shogun, Tokugawa Tsunayoshi, has a massive headache. Technically, these men are criminals. They formed a secret conspiracy. They attacked a government official. They disturbed the peace. All illegal. By the law, they should be executed as common murderers, decapitated like bandits, but public opinion is 100% on their side. They are heroes. Even the shogun admires them. They follow the highest ideals of Confucian loyalty. If he executes them as criminals, he looks like a tyrant who hates honor. If he lets them go, he admits that his laws don't matter. The debate rages for weeks. Confucian scholars are brought in. It's the trial of the century. They finally find a third way. The shogun orders them to commit seppuku. Why is this a win? Because criminals are executed. Warriors commit seppuku. By ordering seppuku, the shogun is saying, you broke the law, you must die, but you acted with honor so you may die as samurai. It is a death sentence, but it is an honorable death sentence. On March 20th, 1703, 46 of the Ronin commit suicide. Wait, 46? I know. We'll get to that. They are buried next to their master. You might have noticed I said 46 committed suicide. Who was the 47th? His name was Terasaka Kichimon. He was the lowest ranking member of the group, an Ashigaru, a foot soldier, not a full samurai. The story goes that after the raid, Oshi ordered him not to return. He was ordered to run. Why? To be the messenger, to get to the Asano family in Hiroshima and tell them the deed was done, to make sure the truth was told. Terasaka lived. He eventually was pardoned by the shogun, which shows the shogun really didn't want to kill them. He lived to be 83 years old. When he died, he was buried at Sengaku-ji with the others. So in death, the 47 were reunited. But the story didn't end there. It exploded. The government banned people from talking about it because it made them look bad. So playwrights changed the names. Asano became Lord Enya. Kira became Lord Murano. They said it in the 14th century. They called the play The Treasury of Loyal Retainers. It became the most popular play in Japanese history. It turned a messy, legally dubious incident into a perfect fairy tale of good versus evil. It turned Oshi into a flawless hero, and Kira into a cartoon villain. Today, every December 14th, thousands of people visit Shingaku-ji Temple to burn incense. It is the story that defines the Japanese soul. It asks the questions, when the law conflicts with what is right, which one do you choose? The 47 Ronin chose what they thought was right, and they paid for it with their lives. And that is why we still talk about them 300 years later. So what is the final takeaway from the snowy night of the 47 Ronin? Maybe it's that justice is rarely clean. To get justice for their lord, these men had to become criminals. They had to abandon their families. They had to lie, cheat, and murder. It teaches us that loyalty is a double-edged sword. It can make you a hero, but it can also demand that you destroy your own life. We love this story not because they won, because technically they all died, but because they finished what they started. In a world full of compromise and halfway measures, there is something terrifyingly beautiful about men who go all the way. So honor your promises, watch out for daytime lanterns, and try not to draw your sword in the boss's hallway. Take care of yourselves and each other.